Hello, everybody. My name is Winston Jung Huang. I feel anxious, excited, and grateful to be here. I feel grateful because you made time out of your busy day to be here now. Thank you. And I feel anxious, excited because I'm about to talk about something that's been a passion of mine for many years, and that is the Ecovillage, based on the Ringing Cedars of Russia book series. Let me ask you a quick question. So, what are the thoughts, feelings, and images that might come to your mind when I say Ecovillage? Is it something along the line of ecological, eco friendly, sustainable, peaceful living? I ask you this question because I wonder if you are ever to consider living in an eco village. What might be your one biggest reason for it? Let me briefly share with you my reason why, and it is family. I grew up in a family that faced many challenges. And my dear parents worked very hard to give us a good life. And for that, I am forever grateful. At the same time, there were so many difficulties and challenges as we were trying to survive and thrive in our modern age. I didn't think much of it because there were other families who were also struggling in many ways. And that is until I came across the idea of Eco Village. I didn't think much of it. I thought it was interesting, but then all of that transformed when I read the Ringing Cedars of Russia book series. My vision of a potentiality of an eco village changed dramatically when I read the book series. The author of the books is Vladimir McRae. He was a well-established entrepreneur when he met Anastasia in 1995. And out of conversations that he had with Anastasia, he found the ideas, perspectives, and philosophies so astounding and inspirational for him that he wrote book 1 in 1996 and all the way to book 10 in 2014. So, what's the book series about? Just one book of the series contained so many paradigm shifting, maybe even a world changing ideas, in my humble opinion. That's why I say it's a tough question to answer. And if I were to talk about what I feel is the essence of the book series, I would say this statement. Quote, Anastasia thinks every family should have its own plot of land that's no less than 1 hectare slash 2.5 acres in size. The family needs to transform this plot of land, which the Taiga Hermit calls a family homestead, into a heavenly living oasis that can provide for all of man's material needs. End of quote. Now, that's a gigantic statement. Let's break it down one at a time. 1 hectare slash 2.5 acre. How big is it? It is about the size of a professional baseball field. A family homestead. What is it? It is another way of saying King's domain that means exactly the same thing. And how a family homestead might look like is this. With the house on the right for shelter, of course, vault for storing food, well for drinking water, kitchen garden for veggies, hedge for privacy and boundary, lake for a source of water, swimming, bath for washing yourself, maybe even a sauna in there, field for grains, beehives for honey, forest for wood, garage, stable, and workshops for getting things done and putting things in, garden for more veggies, and maybe even an orchard for fruits. Now, in the center of the homestead, you might see a circle of trees with a big tree in the middle. Now that is what is called a family tree. In the book series, Anastasia suggests that each family plant what's called a family tree. And my understanding of a family tree is like a physical and maybe even a spiritual connecting link between you and your descendants on your family homestead. And the tree that you see up on the screen is a limber pine tree. And I'm thinking maybe I can make a limber pine tree into my family tree or my future family homestead. but I need to discuss this with my future wife first. The reason why I'm considering that is not only because the tree looks cute, but here is another reason. A candidate for the oldest limber pine called Twister was confirmed to be at least blank years old. So any guesses? 50 years? 100? 300? Anybody 500? Anybody 1,000 years old? The answer is at least 1,700 years old. That blew my mind. That is a reason why I'm considering a limber pine tree as my potential family tree, because I dream of one day, maybe if I plant that tree on my future family homestead, that tree may provide shade for my grandchildren's 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 grandchildren, covering approximately 1,700 years. Spectacular. Next point, a heavenly living oasis. Heavenly living oasis. What is it, and is it even possible? Can you turn a family homestead into a heavenly living oasis? Here is a blueprint of a thriving eco-settlement of family homesteads. Each rectangle represents a homestead. And what if you were to take a walk on one of those family homesteads and come across a garden like this? Very nice, isn't it? An aisle of roses. So taking a walk through it, smelling the roses, admiring the beauty, and you keep walking and then ending up at a place like this. To me personally, this is the most beautiful garden that I've ever seen in my life. And in fact, I would love to create something like this on my family homestead. It's beautiful. I just love the variety of colors and species and plants and the things you could do and experiences you could create in a place like that. Meditate, have a conversation, teach your class, anything you can imagine. So many possibilities. And for me, that is a heavenly living oasis. A family homestead can provide for all of man's material needs. Well, can a family of 5 live off a hectare of land? My tentative answer to the question, is a hectare of land enough for a family? I would say yes, but I'll share with you very soon why I think it is a definite yes, that a hectare of land is enough for a family. Here's why. Are the eco-settlements of family homestead Kin's domain real? Are there families who are living off a hectare of land? Yes, they do. Eco-settlement, Ved Russia. And if you notice the trees and the plants that you see that you in the photo are not very tall, and that is because the settlement began recently. But I guarantee you, it's gonna look better every year, and it's gonna look more magnificent every single decade. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about eco-settlements of family homesteads. Now, here are family homesteaders of Ved Russia. More eco-settlements. I love these photos because of the bright faces and beautiful lightings. More eco-settlements. More. And I love the one in the center because the family homesteaders are standing under what appears to be a village tree. Beautiful. Now, if you live in a climate like Canada, you might wonder, it looks fun and happy in spring and summer, but Canada gets cold and gets really cold for a very long time. Are you sure we can have eco-settlements like that in a place like Canada? Yes, there are eco-settlements that are in similar climate as Canada. There are about 400 eco-settlements / eco-villages of family homestead in Russia as of 2020. Now, what might be one commonality among these 4 countries in relation to what we're talking about right now? Each of these countries has passed a law that grants each person or each family at least 2.5 acres of land for lifetime use, with the right to hand it down the generations, but without the right to sell it. And what might be the commonality between these countries? While much less in numbers, these countries have at least one equal settlement of family homestead. And if you live in Canada, you might wonder, Winston, why isn't Canada on that list? And that is because Canada does not have an equal settlement of family homesteads yet. And I am doing this presentation to change that. We have the people, resources, and the land to make it happen. And if you feel inspired by this vision, talk to me. Let's work together. Let's make it happen in 5, 10, or less years. Let's do it. In conclusion, possibilities. What's possible? Well, how much time do we have? Because there are so many possibilities that I see and feel in my heart and soul. So I picked 4. On the top right, the photo represents a family homestead being an ideal setting in which you and your beloved can protect, nurture, and expand the love between you two with the help of a heavenly living oasis that can provide for all your material needs. And that, my friends, I believe is a beautiful and abundant basis through which your children can be born, nurtured, and raised. For me personally, a family homestead is a home in the truest sense, in my personal opinion, because it is a place where they can be connected to and loved by every expression of life on the family homestead. So that when they return home, there is a chance that there might be a squirrel who is smiley and happy to see them. And what I share with you sounds good and feels good, but at some level, fantastical, not based in reality. Because we live in a civilization that's predominantly focused on technology and industrialization. And I'm not saying those things are necessarily bad, but I am saying there is a heavy imbalance toward them. And that's why I believe eco settlements and eco villages can be a strong way to re-establish the balance, creating a solid foundation and grounding upon which we can create a beautiful, abundant, and joyous future for ourselves and for our grandchildren's, 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 grandchildren. And that's why I believe this is an idea whose time has come.